All right, folks, and we're back. And I think we're good. This is Andrew Cummings here with another episode of Missionary Monday Live. We're actually doing it on a Monday this week. Last week we didn't have it, so we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm sorry for the hiccups here getting started. We had a couple false starts. My connection wasn't going live on my phone, so. And I tried on Facebook and that was working, but I wanted to give one more try on my phone because you get a better, clearer image, and so we're on the phone and we're good to go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I've got a list here. I've got some cool things to share with you today, so some great links that might even be resources for you, so stay tuned with that. Some ministry updates, and before we're done here, we're going to get to an update. This is unbelievable. We're going to get to an update on. If you remember our last video, I talked about a church, an evangelical church here in Brazil that contributed about 11,000 reais. That's a little over $3,000. To and the best thing Americans have to associate with this is a center for voodoo worship. It's the Afro-Brazilian religion, Candomblé, and they donated 11,000 reais, about $3,000, for the construction of this thing. And I thought to myself at that point, that, you just can't sink any lower than this. The church has limited resources. How are we going to spend our limited resources? I know. Here's Missionary X over here who's trying his hardest to build a church and can use all the funds he can get. But I know what we'll do. We'll give $3,000 to a center for pagan worship. That makes a lot of sense. So anyway, we talked about this last week. It gets better. Or better as in worse. A lot worse. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get to this. But first, I have, I guess, if for want of a better word, a word from our sponsor. Now, this sponsor is the wrong word because I get absolutely nothing from this. But I just wanted to draw your attention to something I'm really proud of. I'm very proud of my sister-in-law. I'm proud of all my sisters-in-law. But I'm very proud today of my sister-in-law, Kaylin, who is releasing what I think this is her second book. Now, this one, as far as I can tell, is just an ebook. And so, just an ebook. It's being released as in exclusively ebook fashion. And this is neat. First, a little background. My sister-in-law, Kaylin, married to my brother, Joseph, and she has a website, KaylinBrook.com, and the tagline is "Simple Solutions to Manage Everyday Life." And so you should check that out, KaylinBrook.com. And it really is that. And she is unbelievably organized, but she's not one of those annoying organized people who are all like, "Yeah, I'm organized and you're not." I just don't like being around those kind of people. However, my sister-in-law is not one of those. In fact, she does everything she can to help other people be organized, but not in a snooty way. Like, she's actually interested in helping people live better lives and be organized. And she's got this cool book out, and it's called Brain Book. And basically what it's doing is, I get bombarded with these advertisements. Here's the ultimate planner, and oh no, you need an electronic planner, and I've tried several of them and they failed miserably. Well, this looks cool. Because it's a system that she's developed, and I think maybe the system's been around there, but she's actually sat down and written a how-to book about this, and it'll save a lot of cash because these other organizational systems are super expensive. And they'll save you a lot of cash, and it's this book called Brain Book, and she teaches you how to actually organize your life yourself without having to get all of this crazy stuff. So I'm going to put a link down beneath here, or you can just go yourself to Kaylin Brook. That's KALYNBROOKE, KaylinBrook.com, and you can find that. And for those of you who are watching live on Facebook right now, I am going to add the link in the comments section. Boom. So there we go. And the link is up, and you can click on that link and go, and on that page, that will show you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do to find the book. No, I got to tell you, I haven't read it yet, but I know Kaylin, and I know how she writes. I've read her other book. Her other book on finances helped me tremendously, and I know it helped a lot of other people too about family finances. So it's really in simple terms. Once again, it's not in terms of, oh, look how good I am, and you're a miserable wretch because you can't do this. It's actually helping people do this. And so this second book that she's put out looks to be fantastic also. So there's a link. Look at that. Like I said, I don't get anything from this. I just put stuff out there that I think are really good. I want to, speaking of our sponsors, of course, we're Missionary, so we're supported by churches and individuals. We're always very thankful for that. It's Christmas season. And I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple churches. I'm not going to name names, but I was looking down through our donations list, our mission. We have a website. We can see what's come in, what hasn't. And we received two pretty generous Christmas gifts today through our mission. And I just want to say a thank you to the churches, and you know who you are, to the churches who did that, who sent that out. That means, it always means a lot to us. It means a lot to us this year. This year we stretched ourselves financially to build the house, and you've been following that process, and it's a calculated move, and I'm glad we did it because we're in a house. I mean, we're able to have this house, we're able to host people, and we're able to carry on ministry and live as a family in this environment, and so it's been a tremendous blessing. But to do it, we stretched ourselves thin. And so the Christmas gifts that you sent will help make Christmas, shall we say, a lot more jolly at the Cummings household this year. So than it would have been. So we appreciate that, and I want to say to you guys, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. That was a pleasant surprise this morning that we got. So we were very happy about that. Now, I want to tell you about a couple things that are going on. Lots of stuff going on at church. One of the exciting things, there's a ministry called Source of Light Ministries. And you should go online and check them out. Once again, I'm not getting any kickback from this. But this is something that's been really helpful to me. I've been looking for something that I can use as a kind of to motivate some of our people to grow in their Christian walk. And Source of Light Ministries puts out this little course. This is actually the one Nathaniel's doing. This little course that's suitable for a wide range of age groups. It's simple enough for kids, but they also deal with subjects that even adults who are just starting out spiritually, they'll find it useful. So I settled on this ministry to kind of work some of our people along to developing their Bible knowledge and their walk with God and their spiritual life. And so I just started, we just made this a budget in our church, and budget item at our church, and we started distributing it. And it's been really great to see. And every week now, for the past several weeks, I've had kids and adults come back and say, hey, Pastor, here's a lesson I did. Can I have the next one? And I've already got the lessons there, so sure, you can have it. I have four kids already who have completed, and the cool thing is, on their own initiative, they have already completed the first four. And so, and actually the headquarters of Source of Light Ministry here in Brazil, it's run out of the Catholic Baptist Seminary where we used to work. By the way, that little bling 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 you hear coming through is people sending me messages. So just ignore that. All right, I'll read the messages later. People sending me messages on WhatsApp. So that's one of the real exciting. It does a pastor's heart good when people get excited about learning the Word of God and that kind of thing. And I'm working through it with our sons, and so that's really neat. Also, and I want to share something with you. And this for here, I'll have a link because I put a link to this at our website, and so I'll put a link underneath the video here on Facebook. You can see that. If you're watching this on another venue, on YouTube or whatever, after it's done, you can go to andrewcummings.com. That's our website, andrewcummings.com, and you can see this. But what I put there, we have a pastor, a member of our ministry team here, Pastor Francivaldo, who's working with us in the church plant, just graduated from seminary. And one of the things I like about Francivaldo is he'll see an idea and he'll take it and he'll run with it. Now, back when we were building the house, I got to know the guys who were building the house, and I asked them what church they went to. Most of them, other than the main contractor who was a believer, the others didn't go to church. And so I asked them, well, I was going to indicate some Bible verses for them to read. I said, do you have Bibles at home? No, none of them had Bibles at home. So, well, we got to take care of that problem. So that's what I did. I bought them all some Bibles and gave them and distributed them. One guy looked at me and said, this is the best present I've ever received. So that was neat. So anyway, Francivaldo saw this happen. And he said, you know what? I wonder how many people, because he has lots of contacts in some interior towns, I wonder how many of those people have Bibles. And he started to ask around and found out that very few did. So he raised some money in another part of Brazil. And he came back and he started distributing. He goes on little week-long trips and he'll go to these interior towns and he'll distribute Bibles. And so the link I just put up there are some pictures that he sent, put on Facebook. He gave me his permission to use them. And he's going and distributing Bibles to all of these communities and people who don't have Bibles. And I'm going to talk with him because I think that if he distributed it and also started people in on the Source of Light material, it would be very beneficial to the people, many of whom have no church to go to and no perspective in the near future of a church plant. This would be a tremendous help for them. All right. There's more as far as updates go. Let me get my list here. Oh yes, last week the reason we didn't do a recording last week was that because on Monday I was at camp, and so I'm going to throw another link up here because we do have an update about camp. I went out to the camp. We had received a very generous donation. That link that just went up. We'll talk about this. A very generous donation from a church in the United States to continue work on the camp. So I went out to start that process. And right now our first step in this at the camp is going to be making the bathroom doors. So then we can buy some materials and store them actually in the bathroom that's being built. And we don't have to keep transporting stuff back and forth. There'll be good secure doors that we can lock and make sure everything's set. But I got out there, and the guy who's my construction foreman and kind of watching over things for me, he said, I got to show you some stuff. And you'll see there in the link, there's a picture of one of our telephone poles that we had built cracked. And so we're having to replace that. So I left some money there for him to take care of that. And also we're having a problem with a transformer and that hooks up our electricity. And you say, well, it's a transformer, just call the electric company. Well, it's not that easy here. Basically, what had to happen is all the residents that depend on that transformer had to get together in a commission and go, including our camp. I sent my name. I wasn't able to be there personally, but they all got together and went to the company to pressure them to do that. A guy came out to look at it, and this is since I posted this. So a guy from the electric company came out to look at it. And he is now going to be, he put a new transformer up there, but he put it at the same kind, the same power. It needs to be a bigger transformer to handle all the usage, and so it's still having the same problem. So I'll be praying for that, because really before any construction can go on, we need to have power. To have reliable power where you're not getting shocked all the time. As it is, people who live there, they can't even open their refrigerators without getting shocked. So that's a problem. So pray that gets resolved for our camp project. And this is really cool. I think I've mentioned before here, a while back we had a visit from Pastor Brian King, West Windsor Baptist Church. His wife Judy also was with us. And one of the things they brought down, we had purchased it as a birthday present for Michael. And there was no way we could have it shipped here, but they brought it down with them. A beautiful telescope. Michael, ever since last year, he had a school project on astronomy, and he's been just really into astronomy. And so he's been taking pictures of the moon and planets and stars, and I picked out some of those better pictures, and I put them on our website. And so I'm putting that link up there too, and you can see that. And also on that link, if you scroll down and past the pictures, you'll see a little part I've written there, and there's a link there. And if you use Instagram, Michael's Instagram page is on there. So you want to follow an MK, see what MKs are interested in, which is basically what other Ks are interested in, what other kids are interested in. You can you can check on that and subscribe to Michael's Instagram page. I'm sure he would appreciate the followers and leave some comments for him. And by the way, and I hadn't put this on there yet. So these pictures that are on the site here, they do not include the pictures of last night's supermoon. So what you can do is you go on Facebook, look for Michael Cummings, Comings, on Facebook, and then scroll down, and you can see the pictures that he took of the moon on Facebook. And those, my friends, are spectacular. I mean, I'm not really into astronomy. Astronomy is not my thing, but those pictures are really, really, really cool. So you go on this, and I might put them up on my website. I shared them. I shared them on my Facebook, and so you can I think scroll down my Facebook and see the supermoon pictures. And my smart aleck brother Daniel just put up there, is Michael looking for an astronomical number of followers? Yeah, very funny, astronomical. Yeah, I see what you did there. All right, so there's that. Now, before we move on, I would like to have another word from our sponsor. Actually, this is not a sponsor, this is actually me. And I just want to make sure you know about, because it might happen that someday you are not here watching the video. I know you plan your schedule around. Okay, and we're back. We got cut off there for a minute, but we're back now. I know you plan your schedules around these videos, and so I have before our Missionary Monday Live videos. So if you don't see them live, you can go to this account. You can actually subscribe to this account so you'll never miss another Missionary Monday Live episode. Because I know what a tragedy it is when you miss these. All right, so there it is for your viewing pleasure. All right, and we're back. Waiting it out paid off. So anyway, where were we? Oh yes. We're back. Our YouTube page, so you can check out. I've added that underneath, link underneath, so you can check that out. Let's see what's next. Like I said, we have a long list today. Aha! Before we go, another word from our sponsor. This one actually is a sponsor. This actually, when you purchase this item, you actually help us out directly. You contribute to a very important fund when you purchase one of the Missionary Max books. We have Missionary Max and the Jungle Princess, and then this book, Missionary Max and I forget the title of the book I wrote, Missionary Max and the Lost City. And I'm going to put the link for that under there. And let me just say that all proceeds, like I mentioned before, to a very special fund, and that fund, it did used to go to the Build Andrew a House Fund while we have the house built. So now we have the Put Andrew's Kids Through College Fund. Okay, so that's the noble cause that the Missionary Max books are going towards. So there it is. I put the Amazon page. You can get both of those books there. And there's some interesting news coming right down the line. I can't make any announcements now, but we've got some more Missionary Max related news in the works. Some more on that in upcoming weeks. Now, back to what I wanted to talk about today. We have, like I mentioned last week, we talked about this evangelical church in Rio in Salvador that gave money. That's Rio actually. That gave money to a voodoo pagan worship center. And I say voodoo. I understand voodoo is different from candomblé for those purists out there. But it's what American minds, it's the closest thing that American minds know. So it's Afro-Brazilian syncretistic religion melded with Roman Catholicism, and it's basically demon worship. It's paganism. That's what it is. And so this evangelical church contributed money in the name of tolerance and in the name of love for the African American community, because most people who adhere to this religion are African-American, Afro-Brazilians. And so that was 2 weeks ago, and if you remember 2 weeks, I was just dumbfounded by this news. And at first I thought it was fake news. I thought it was a joke, but I went online and it's actually true, and I thought there's no way that this can get worse. And it's like, when I said that, it's like a Brazilian artist named Kleber Lucas said, "Hold my beer." If you've seen the meme, someone says, "This can't get any worse," and someone else says, "Hold my beer," and makes it worse. It's like Kleber, the Brazilian artist Kleber Lucas said, "Hold my beer." Kleber Lucas is a very well-known singer here in Brazil, Christian singer. In fact, I'm going to throw up here on the screen. I'm going to throw on the connection. If you're watching this on YouTube, I won't have all these links here. But here on Facebook Live, I just put a link. That's Kleber Lucas's website. He's a very well-known Brazilian singer, and he is a Christian singer. In fact, if you, on this website, if you don't read Portuguese, but on his website, his top album is titled Pela Fé, which means by faith, from Hebrews chapter 11. So that's the name of the title of his CD, By Faith. Well, Kleber Lucas thought it would be an interesting idea to go and sing at a service at this pagan worship center that was paid for in part by an evangelical church. And I actually have the video of this. When I saw this, I said, "There's no way. This has to be fake news." Alas, it is not fake news. It is very, very real news. And I am going to put this video here, but I'm also going to play it. Where'd it go? Yeah, there it is. So that's up in the comments section. Got a lot of videos in the comments section. But I'm going to play a little bit for you here, because if you're watching this video, you watch it a little later. I've got the link underneath there, and you see people. And if you know what you're looking for here, you can tell that there's a lot of people who are part of this Afro-Brazilian religion, this pagan worship system. But then there's also there's a Catholic priest in there, and some people of different religions in there. So it's a big kumbaya ecumenical moment. And as the video pans around, let's see if I can move it forward just a little bit. Right at about the 44-second mark, you see a guy behind the piano. His hands are up in the air. He's getting into the whole thing. And this is, and he's clapping his hands. That's Kleber Lucas. That's Christian artist. Now, I can't understand this song. This song, by the style of it, I mean, it's got the heavy African percussion, but by the style of it, it might actually be one of Kleber Lucas's songs that's being sung there. I'm not that familiar. He's not my style, so I don't understand that much of what he says. But now, and we're at about the 118 mark, this lady in white and the man in white, he's in a white African cap, the music stopped and they're talking, and the lady with a big white hat, and she's got the microphone, this is the priest and the priestess of this Afro-Brazilian religion, this pagan system of worship, and she starts to sing. That's her voice you hear right now. See if I can turn this up. Now, you might not understand the words, but what they're doing right there is they're invoking their African spirit gods. That's what they're doing. They are invoking their African spirit gods. And Kleber Lucas is right there, and a bunch of his evangelical friends are right there, and they're clapping. In fact, if you wait, the thing pans around. And let's see if we can catch Kleber Lucas again with this whole thing. Or if he is conveniently off the scene. But that rhythm and the words they're singing, they're actually invoking their Afro-spiritist spirit deities. And this is, in Portuguese we say, this is an aberração. In English, probably the closest word would be, this is an abomination. Okay, you can see Kleber Lucas. He's still there. Still behind there. Swaying to the music. This is at, about the 2:52 mark when you're watching it at home. So this is where we are in Brazilian evangelicalism. Now, he recently had he has, thankfully, and I'm glad to see this, he's caught a lot of flack for this among his fellow evangelicals. I'm glad to see that. I would be very worried if he didn't catch any flack. I'm very worried that this happened at all, and that there might be people in my church or in other churches that are going to go out and buy Kleber Lucas's CDs and say, "Oh, this man is ministering to me spiritually." This is horrible. This is the kind of stuff that the prophets of the Old Testament cried out against. This is the kind of stuff that caused Jesus to clear out the temple, mixing worldliness with worship. Mixing idolatry with the worship of Jehovah. Now this article is in Portuguese. I'm going to throw it down in there because there might be some people who are watching this who read Portuguese, and this will be very interesting. Or you might be able to throw it in one of those little translator doohickeys. However, and I was hoping that I would be able to throw the word doohickey in there before we were done. So anyway, in this article that I just linked, there's actually a picture of Kleber Lucas there behind the piano and talking to some people, and he says, when they ask him about it, he says for Kleber Lucas, the evangelicals that criticized him for his attitude are people who cannot live with others who think differently than they do. That's what he says. They're wounding me a lot and making me rethink my path. What I can affirm with all certainty is that these persons did not understand the message of Christ. This is what he says. We are still talking about tolerance when we should be talking about respect. That's what he says at the end. I'm going to go back to his phrase. The people, this would include me, who are not able to live with people who think differently. I just want to throw something out there. Kleber Lucas, I'm sure he's watching. I'm perfectly able to live with someone who thinks differently. I live, I work, I interact every day with people of all different faiths. But there's a difference between living with someone who believes a heresy and worshiping with someone who believes a heresy. There's a difference between living with an idolater and worshiping with an idolater. These are two vastly different things. And while the Bible tells me that I am in the world but not of the world, so I should live with idolaters and interact on a social and professional and personal basis with each one of these people that God brings across my path. That's what missionaries do. That's what ordinary Christians do. That's what everybody does that's a believer in Christ. But the Bible offers very severe and very clear injunctions about idolatry and about the worship of false gods. This is not to be done. This is not to have any place in the church. This is not a place for... Now, let's say that the people at the Candomblé said, we want you, at the Terreiro de Candomblé said, we want you to come and share the gospel. Let's say they called me up. Pastor Andrew, we want you to come and share the gospel and preach to us. Okay. Am I going to be participating in pagan worship? Yes. Sorry, can't do it. But, so that question, am I going to be participating in pagan worship? No, you're not. Okay, good. Can I say what I want to say? Can I preach the Bible without censor? Yes, you can. Okay, I'm there. I think I've mentioned here a couple times how I almost, by default, got to preach a funeral in a Catholic church. The priest wasn't there. The only place to have the funeral was a Catholic church. And so at the end, finally someone said, you know what, if he preaches here, the priest, who's not here, but if he ever found out, he would have a heart attack. So, okay. But I wasn't going to be participating in Catholic service, and I was going to be preaching the gospel. I ended up preaching the same message on the back doorstep of the Catholic church in the little cemetery they had, infant cemetery. So, but there's a huge difference between that and what happened here. Huge difference. There, Kleber Lucas is no, we're all one big happy family, and I respect your beliefs. No, here's the thing. I respect the person, because the person is a person created in the image of God. So I respect the person because he is created in the image of God. But I do not respect the belief system, because the belief system is going to send that person to an eternity without Christ if he doesn't believe. So I respect the person. I do more than respect the person. I love the person. And I love the person so much that I am going to be heartbroken that that person is following a belief system that is going to take him to an eternity without Christ. So this whole thing, and this is quite a. I've had a couple interesting conversations on Facebook with some of my friends here in Brazil about things exactly like that, and people who I thought should know better. It seems like our minds have become squishy. Our minds have become extremely squishy in these postmodern times that we live in, and I know that you deal with this in the United States a lot. I would postulate. Here's another good word. I never thought I'd use that in today's thing. I would suggest that we deal with it more here in Brazil than you do in the U.S. This kind of thinking, just because of the nature of the culture and other history and other things that happen here. This is all happening, by the way, under the guise of we need to respect for the African American culture. That's that's the excuse that's being used. Respect for the African American culture, and love for our African American neighbor. I'm on board with that. Afro-Brazilian. That's what they call them here. They call them Afro-descendants, I guess. Love for our Afro-descendant neighbor. I'm on board. I love my Afro-descendant neighbor. I love him so much that I do not want him to go to hell. I don't want that to happen. And so what do? I go and participate in a service with him and tell him everything's hunky-dory and I respect his belief system that's sending him to hell? No. I use every opportunity to share the gospel with him and spend every resource to make sure that he is hearing the gospel. And don't spend any resources making sure that to facilitate him hearing the religion that has bound his people in spiritual chains for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. So, that's one of the things we deal with here. I didn't think I was going to be talking about that this week until I saw that video, and they're like, wow, that's interesting. We've used up a lot of time, and I thank you, those who have stuck with us through this whole time. I thank you for your patience with that. And we got more to talk about, but we're going to save that for next week. So, Lord willing, be with us again next Monday, and we'll talk about some more things that are happening, that are going on down here. If you're just tuning in, we're coming to a close, but this will be saved on Facebook. It'll be saved on YouTube. You can go on Facebook. You can go down through the links and see what we've talked about. Once again, thanks for watching. God bless. Lord willing, we'll see you again here next week.